when Jessica died, my first meeting was approximately 6 months after her death. And like a lot of people back in those days, we met at people's homes. We didn't meet at a church or a funeral home or whatever. We met in people's homes. And I remember driving around the block 3 times because I thought, all I'm going to do is find these people are going to be sitting here and crying. Well, I've been crying enough. I don't need to keep crying. And it did. It took me 3 times to go around the block before I stopped with the courage to go in. And that's not what I found. And yes, I found people smiling. And I thought, well, Mom, that by golly, there's hope. There is hope. I am going to live through this. The worst thing I've ever encountered in my life. But at that point, I had buried a husband at the age of 21 who died on his 21st birthday. Had buried my mother when I was 14, oldest of 5. But to lose my child did not even come close to comparing to the other 2 losses. Reasons I've been with TCF for 43 years is because there are families out there that don't know that they're going to need us yet. And sure, I could walk away now. I mean, I've been at it a long, long time, but it's just part of my soul. It's part of who I am. Helping me. I've always told other folks, and maybe I'll meet somebody and it's 2 or 3 years down the road, and maybe they came to one meeting and then quit and didn't come back. I've always truly believed deep down that when you help others, you actually help yourself. To realize that every death is unique, every death is different, but every death is the same. That loss is a loss. We are not to bury our children. I don't care how old they are. And in fact, I remember when I first came to TCF, there was a lady that was in her 80s. And I'm sorry, I don't remember her name because it was when I was very, very new. And she had had a son, and why I even remember his name being Patty is beyond me. But she had a son that had died in the 40s from complications to surgery. And she and her husband got home from his funeral, and her husband said to her, "We will never mention Patty's name again. He's done, he's gone, he's buried. We will not ever say his name again." So what this lady did to help herself, to help others, she would see obituaries in the newspaper, and she would send a sympathy card and a note. I said to her way back then, you know, you were doing the work of the Compassionate Friends, even before there was the Compassionate Friends, you know, and I truly believe that by helping others, you help yourself. By saying our children's names, they're always with us. And in these 43 years, people would say, well, I didn't want to bring up her name because I don't want you to remember. Well, for golly sakes, gee willikers, we remember them every day. They're part of us, whether they're here or not. And what would really irritate me, and I got to the point where I would be vocal about it. You know, you sit around with your friends and you talk about, well, remember when Jimmy hit that home run in Little League when he was like in 3rd grade? And I would pop up and say, well, I remember when so-and-so did such a thing. And then everybody shuts up. Oh, what did I say? They were part of our lives. They were alive. Why can we not speak of them when they were here? You know? And I just never did understand that. And I would, you know, go on and say something to them, which would make them feel uncomfortable, but it would also make them think.